It has been a hectic week. So, welcome back to the channel. My name's Josh, and it has been a very busy week. So, I went out of town for work for a few days and ended up staying at a very interesting hotel. They put us up in a hotel that used to be a bank. And I'll go through and post pictures up so you can go through and see what I'm talking about. So, I ended up staying in what they call the vault. It was just my room back there. So it was very weird. I had to go down this weird hallway and then go through the vault door that looks like it could shut at any moment. And yeah, back there was my room. Now, the room was ridiculously big. It was like 1,000 square feet. It had a kitchen. The living room was huge. It also had a backyard. Very big and not needed for one person. I feel like I could fit 5 families in this hotel. It was a lot of fun though. Got to see a lot of people I normally don't get to see in person. So it was very fun to go through and collaborate and really make some plans for the remaining of 2025 and 2026. So overall, the trip was fun. The hotel room was a little crazy. When I got back, baseball season just started, so my son got put onto a team. I'm so happy he got put onto the same coaching team as last year, so he knows about half the team, which is awesome, and his coach is fantastic. But it is very busy right now. There are practices almost every single day. I don't know the game schedule yet, so that should be coming out soon, which should just increase the intensity. And then my youngest is, I think his season starts. I think he's doing something soon. I can't recall what sport he's going to be playing soon. So we're just going to have back-to-back stuff going on for the next few months. So we'll see how I can juggle everything since, I'm already booked up. So before I jump into the normal cadence of things that are happening on my side of the house, there is something big that has been making the waves. And honestly, I think it's very important, definitely if you're an audiobook fan. If you're not interested in hearing about the Audible's royalty model that just came out, go to the description below, jump to the next section, and it'll be the normal cadence. But for those interested, let's jump in and just give a little bit of a snippet of what's been going on from the Audible side of the house. So Audible went through and rolled out a new royalty model. And the big idea was to finally start paying authors more for the audiobooks that we love. But there are some shenanigans happening from Audible. Audible is now going to increase the percentages that the authors can make per credit, which is fantastic. But now they are changing things up a little bit. They're taking the total value of your membership and the credits that you spend and splitting that money up across the single book that you went through and purchased, along with the Audible Premium, where you can go through and listen to as many audiobooks you want for free on their account. Again, free. So now they're getting more money, but their fractions of their payouts are smaller than ever before. So for obvious reasons, authors and readers aren't very happy about this. And there's been a petition that's got put on to change.org that's already gathered over 11,000 signatures now. The petition isn't asking Audible to scrap anything, just to make some tweaks. The proposal is really simple. Split the royalties pools into 2 separate pools. You have the purchase credit pool, where if you buy a credit and spend that credit on a book, that author only is receiving their percentages, which makes sense. And then if you want to use the membership of paying the all you can listen to for per month, then those get split evenly between the authors you went through and listened to. It makes a lot of sense, but not sure why Audible went through and combined them both. my perspective is they really want everyone to lean more into the all you can listen to, kind of like how Netflix is set up, where you don't really own anything. You're just going through and borrowing and being able to listen to as much as you can per month. I think they kind of want to lean into that on a long term basis. From my perspective, I think that's what they're planning on doing. But who knows what their long term strategic plan is? But for me, if I'm going through and paying a credit, I want it to go to that actual author only because I feel like that's the fair thing to go through and do. So why does this matter to you? This matters because it affects the kind of audiobooks that are going to go through and get made. If authors aren't earning a fair share, fewer will go through and invest in creating audiobooks. And that means fewer choices for us as listeners. It's not about the money, it's about the sustainability of the stories we love. So if you're someone like myself who uses Audible and you care about where your money's going, this petition is worth going through and at least checking out. It is a small tweak that we could make a big difference for our authors, an extension for all of us as well, who can't imagine our commutes, our workouts, our late night reading sessions without these amazing audiobooks. If this is something you care about, I'll leave the petition link down in the description below. Please just go through and at least give it just a moment to go through and read. There's so much details, more details than I mentioned here. They go into examples of money and things like that. Go through and check it out. And if you agree, please consider putting your name on the petition. And let's make sure the authors we love actually get paid for the books that we're listening to. So let's jump in now to what did I go through and read. I ended up going through and reading 2 books and 1 novella. The first book I ended up going through and read was The Land of the Ill-Imagined by the great Rob Alexander. And wow, this book was fantastic. This was so much fun and very intriguing and very intense. Fantastic. And I highly recommend checking out his book, specifically Land of the Ill-Imagined. The novella I ended up going through and reading was Night Terror by Charles Hack. And this was an audiobook that I won for free from Charles. He did a giveaway on X, and I was lucky. I think there was like 4 of us, maybe 4 or 5 of us, and went through and won a free copy of this book, which I'm super excited to go through and check out. The book was a lot of fun, and it had the Halo video game feel to it. It was short, but Charles has a fantastic ability to really bring out characters' personalities without doing those data dumping or unnecessary expositions, which I really appreciate. This was such a great glimpse into Charles's skill as a writer, and I can't wait to see what he can do with a full novel. I'm super excited to jump into his full novel very soon. The last book I ended up reading, I read this on the plane to my work event and also on the way back, and this was Vulcan's Forge by Jack DeBraw. And I mean, this book was fantastic. It was a fun 80s, 90s thriller, exactly what you were imagining this book would be about. That's what it was about. It's about Philip Mercer, who was trying to stop an evil genius trying to take over Hawaii. And from getting control of a volcano with special powers. Think of it like James Bond type story where he is super good looking, expert at all things, knower of all things, and he is a rock star at everything, has the biggest plot armor you can ever put on a character, normal 80s, 90s thriller. But it was a lot of fun, fantastic palate cleanser, perfect for an airplane ride. So definitely go through and check out Vulcan's Forge. Now, jumping into what I am reading, to be honest, I have been super deep into reading the BBNYA, and also I am a beta reader for a fantastic author friend of mine. I'm not sure if he would want me to go through and tell you anything about this book. I don't know if he's there at that point yet, so I'm not going to go through and say too much now. Just know that I am loving it so far. I cannot wait till this book comes out. I'm going to be going through and hyping it up a lot. This author has done a fantastic job with this story and super excited to jump in. I mentioned last week that I was planning on reading Spectre and Scream and Blue. I do plan on reading both of them as well, but unfortunately, I just didn't have time this week with all the other books. But I do plan on reading both of them this month before the end of the month. And I also plan on jumping into Midwest Gothic by Scott Thomas. So I do plan on reading this as well. So those are the three books I plan on finishing before the end of this month. So let's jump into my book haul. I ended up just getting one ebook. This was a free book from the author, and this was Shadowfront by Jay Benedict. This one's about Luke Ryder, who thought his war was over until a black bag offers him into the shadows. Recruited by a private outfit with ties to U.S. intelligence, Ryder leads a team of elite contractors in Russian-occupied Ukraine. Their objective: eliminate an officer who is orchestrating attacks against NATO allies. So this sounds like a normal military type thriller book. I kind of assume what this one's going to be about, but I'm still super excited to go through and read it. So I'll be reading this one hopefully really soon. Let's talk about what is happening next week on the channel. So on Monday, I'm going to be going through and doing my September TBR. I'm going to be doing something a little bit different with this one. I'm a huge fantasy football fan, so I decided to add that fantasy football draft element to my September TBR picks. So you're not going to want to go through and miss it. It's going to be a lot of fun. On Tuesday, I'll be on the Bearded Book Beast channel with Chris and Logan. We're going to be going through and discussing The Devils by the great Joe Abercrombie. I've been looking forward to this conversation for a while now, so I'm super excited to go through and check out or go through and discuss The Devils with Chris and Logan on Tuesday. On Wednesday, I'll be interviewing the great J.C.M. Byrne, author of Wistful Ascending. This will be on my channel at 7 p.m. Super excited to talk to Joe. He is a fantastic person, and I am hyped to talk about one of my favorite books of this year. On Friday, I'll be doing a normal weekly recap where I'll be talking about everything that happened from now to next week. And I'll also be on Grifton's channel, where we're going to be going through and talking about total nonsense and whatever comes up on his plate. So I'm super excited to talk to Grifton and have a fantastic conversation. All the links will be listed below to go through and check out everyone's channels. So jumping into my indie author spotlight for this week, I wanted to go through and spotlight Wade Garrett. He is the author of Ghost of the Scattered Kingdom. I stumbled upon this book on X. It was being elevated by the author, and I thought the cover looked fantastic. So I went through and looked up some reviews about this book, and a lot of people were mentioning that this is a steampunk from like the 19th century feel, which I think sounds amazing, and super excited to go through and get my hands on a copy of Wade's book and hopefully read it very soon. But let me tell you a little bit about what the book is about. The old world is in ruins. An empire once blessed with modern miracles and magic has become a patchwork of crumbling burge littered with debris of the formal world. Torchlights are more common now than neon lights, beggars more common than automation, and yet the last of the elite still cling desperately to their power, and they are swearing dark allegiance to the enemy. Opposite this threat stands a rebellion and their best man, Aryan Black. But even legends fall eventually. After the startling failures of his mission, Black heads to the Burge to go through and regroup. When he arrives, however, he discovers the enemy is already there, waiting for him. With the help of a handful of remaining loyalists, Black faces off against traitors and dark creatures alike on the longest night of his life, all trying to uncover the enemy's latest plot to destroy the scattered kingdoms. If he's lucky, Black will survive long enough to tell the rebellion what the enemy is trying to do. So this sounds amazing. The cover looks so cool. So if you want to go through and support Wade, I'll have all of his information down in the description below. Check out Ghost of the Scattered Kingdom. It sounds amazing. So let's jump into the BookTuber Spotlight. And this week, I want to go through and spotlight the amazing, the powerful Tom Orange. Easily one of my favorite booktubers that's currently putting out videos today. The dude is so chill and gives recommendations that aren't the same author and books that we constantly see on BookTube. One of my favorite things that Tom does that's completely original to Tom is he goes through and draws pictures of the covers of the books he's talking about, which I not only find hilarious, but it's also completely original, which I think is fantastic. He also has, like I mentioned, amazing recommendations. He reads amazing books. Some of the recommendations I got from Tom became my favorite book so far of the year. He reads amazing stories and he talks about them with such passion, and it's so much fun. If for some reason you don't know Tom, his information will be listed below. Do yourself a favor, check out Tom Orange. He is fantastic. And to answer your question, yes, he is always wearing orange. All right, so thank you so much. That is it. Let me know what you're reading, watching, and grabbing in your book hauls this week. So again, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe. You know what to do. Till I see you in the next one, stay overbooked.